back with Team Liquid versus Miracle. Team Liquid had the early game locked in versus Miracle, but Miracle with an amazing comeback on Towers of Doom. What are we expecting for game 2? I know you have an expectation for Matt.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like more control, more objective control, but also the ability to play around the objective. I think that's going to be a fun one when we do see this unfold. But for me, that Sport Billy played so well that game. It's almost like if they win, it's just like, boy, Sport Billy did really well. When you lose, it's like, all right, did he do enough? And that's always the crux of, am I doing enough for my team? Because he played so well. The early game kills, the amount of groundbreakers he hit early, Gilly, they were game changing in that early game control. But as things moved on, you saw the counter plays. Nacho Jin coming in. He's like, I see my teammate. He's in trouble. I'm going to go ahead and come in, drop the bunker down, and started to counter a lot of that. So I think more of that style play can fit either of these teams coming in.
Well, as we look at what the next battleground is going to be, I hope that Team Liquid aren't disheartened here, because although it is a frustrating loss, and we're going to Volskaya Foundry, picked by Team Liquid themselves, they did have the early game control. Their strategy was working for them.
They know they can do it. But like you said, they've got to keep their emotions under control. This is going to be feeling shades of Western Clash. This is exactly what happened. They came in, a lot of people were looking at them to do well, and then the first game doesn't go according to plan. They need to keep control. They know they can do it. And in terms of bans, seeing Volskaya on the map pool here, I wouldn't mind seeing Liquid potentially banning out the Diablo. We saw, for starters, just how effective it was in the previous series, in the previous game. But the fact is, if we look at the playoffs for HGC Korea, every single game that Miracle won against Ballistics had Diablo involved. Every one they lost had no Diablo.
Well, that Diablo had a lot of pressure on him, though, in the early game, and I think a lot of that was Hasubs and his Raynor, and we know that Liquid like Raynor on this map. Do you expect that to continue?
Well, the other thing that they can go to, it's something you mentioned in the opening, is that there are Hasu picks, and one of those is a Tassadar, who, if you want to empower a Tracer or a Vala Arcaner, everything that we've heard from him, Gilly, is, I want to be the best. I'm working so incredibly hard, and this is my stage. I want to be the best, and I think that if you want to empower somebody, you have the perfect teammate in Hasuabs to get that done. So the Raynor could come into play, but we might also look towards something a little off meta for Team Liquid.
Tyrande let through this time, but it's still the priority on Diablo for Miracle. It's very likely we will see Liquid pick up the Tyrande now, not just because it's such a strong hero. They don't actually, but because I was going to say, it synergizes so well with Diablo. So now we're going to see Miracle potentially go for that route.
That Blaze and Deckard were big reasons why the Deckard Kane, especially for trying to keep Judy alive last game. You know, like a lot of it was Judy would go out, he'd try to make something happen, make some space, what have you, and then it would be up to things like Sundering, Stay Well and Listen, and whether or not they could keep him alive. But there it is!
The Mephisto.
Frankel's Mephisto.
This can only be another Ana second ban. I don't think you want to give this up. Mephisto for Frankel. The amount of sustained damage, and we've seen some changes since the end of the season, so we might see the change. The Q build got buffed up, and there were some changes elsewhere, and this is a sustained and poke-oriented map, so curious what build we'll get from this Mephisto.
So yeah, like you said, Ana would be absolutely terrifying. There's still the threat of Tyrande as well. That is the choice of bans. But Miracle, they're getting exactly what they want purely out of fear of other strategies here. There goes the Nubrak ban, though. Very interesting.
Man, Mephistos are so annoying on Volskaya. With the shades, they've got to have something that makes sure that they can lock him down when he teleports back, right?
I'm just locked in here.
Okay, all right.
If Tyrande's ban, it's like, here, please take Ana, I'll go Task Tracer, good luck, Ana. Like, that's just how I feel like it's, Tyrande has spell armor on one of her level 1 talents. Instead, we're going to get Murd and Li Ming, so that damage will come out here.
So they can't Task Tracer now, obviously.
Li Ming is great. I mean, you shade in as Mephisto. It's like, look, I know you're going back there. I see that shade of Mephisto.
Thank you for giving me a target.
It's like, I could throw targets at you here, but what if I threw them at you there?
Sitting ducks.
Taking Seeker as well. That would be amazing from back in the day. But for now, Miracle finishing out with the Hanzo and a Malfurion. They don't go for the Ana here.
That's a Nacho Jin Thrall. So a very different feel here for that team. We do get the sustained damage. So Raynor is the, Pepper coming in there. The sustained damage that you need to poke down that front line. Li Ming trying to pop that. I imagine that will be Arcaner trying to get those kills. So a very well-rounded draft, I think, by both of these teams. You have the sustained damage. The Thrall is always the X factor in a lot of these comps. He's normally that flex, the sniper hero that we normally see North America runs a lot of it, is we're going to have triple melee. This is a very different setup. There's a lot of poke-oriented when it comes to the Mephisto and the Hanzo. A lot of skill shot, though, in order to get the maximum value out of those heroes. So they do have to be played at a very high level to make this work.
We've actually got a fascinating setup here where we've got offense into area control defense. With Team Liquid having both Blaze and Deckard Cain, they are so solid for those control point fights where Deckard just presets up potions and, of course, Bunker. But then you look at Miracle, Mephisto, Hanzo, Thrall. All of them are so good at poking into those points. Deckard's just got to be throwing out potions constantly to be able to keep up.
Well, I'm pretty pumped to see that Mephisto already in Miracle's first series. Let's see how it works out for them as we go back over the casters, Trixler and Wolf for game 2.
We've got the Lord of Hatred, Wolf, for Frankel.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see how this all pans out. I actually do, though, like Team Liquid's draft for controlling the objectives themselves. They have so much sustainability. They've got the Rainer consistent damage and burst potential. And with all the safety that the bunker is going to provide in those team fights post 10, I think it's going to be difficult for Miracle to actually commit and pull the trigger, even with Thrall Sundering, you know, and the ability to just commit heavily that way. The bunker can just ruin all of that in an instant.
Especially with Muradin being there on the front line, you can dive in, be a huge nuisance, especially with so many squishy opponents on the side here for Miracle. I mean, you got Hanzo, Thrall, Mephisto, Malfurion. None of them want to deal with a Muradin sitting on their face, and with that Blaze, you just mentioned, Team Liquid should be able to bring the pain.
Yeah, it's going to be a Q build from Mephisto, and this is the go-to build in Korea nowadays. It was a little bit different at the beginning. That spell power build was a little bit more popular, but not so much in, you know, the latter part of Phase 2, Part 2, and now, of course, in BlizzCon, their first Mephisto. We'll see that Q coming out from Korea. And with the Hanzo here, it's going to be for control of the items, as we call them in Korea, the turrets, the healing pulses, etc. That's, you know, the fast clear time that Hanzo provides with the scatter build is why he uses that. And he has great engage potential on top of Thrall Sundering once we get post 10.
Just annoying to deal with, honestly. Hanzo that's built into the scatter arrow. You constantly have arrows flying in your way, especially post level 7, which is nothing to worry about. But what's interesting for me is this Rolling Thunder actually getting picked up for Thrall on a level 1. Looking to have the sustain in lane there. Also getting that nice big pop-up on the basic attacks of 2.5% of maximum health. Pretty solid.
Yeah, it's like it's the solo Q soul lane build, you know, where you feel like you're not always going to have the best health in lane, and you just want to make sure you don't lose it, and you do have that sustain. You could sit there for a long time. And, you know, solo lane Thrall is so rare nowadays, and, you know, he's obviously roaming around quite a bit right now with the wave clear they have. That's certainly a possibility, as you see Hanzo serving that role I was talking about earlier. But they're gonna
find it because of Blaze and the recent mana reduction that he's had on there. But you're right, you've got to fight here up on top of the support camp as Miracle jumps straight on in. Judy getting locked down once again, able to shadow charge on the flank coming in towards him.
Frankel coming in, very heavy commitment here, but he's doing so much damage with his Q, getting so many stacks as well. This is a huge win here for Miracle, and that's going to be an easy healing pulse taken now. And, you know, I mean, when you got a setup like that, he has 7 stacks on his Q. Before that fight, he had 0. So he hits 2 Qs and gets 7 stacks there. And that's just exactly what you want as Mephisto. Not to mention the cooldown reduction that's going to come in from Innervate. He's got Shandos at level 1. So the Malfurion pickup here is not for what it looks like at first glance sustain, but actually for a lot of this early game cooldown reduction, that extra mana. And it's very powerful with a mage that does consistent damage rather than burst damage like Mephisto.
Mephisto's one of these weird heroes that when you're playing against, you don't really identify how much damage he's doing to you until you've actually lost a team fight. And just to give you a glance, we had nearly 5k damage done by Frankel after that one team fight, just shelling away with those missiles. But Team Liquid's looking to bite back. They come in for a fight on the bottom left, but Sniper able to disengage to the bottom left, and it dodges out on the major gank coming his way.
So it ends up being kind of a wonky game in terms of rotations, with Eternal rotating aggressively with Team Liquid instead of offlaning, which put, you know, Muradin in the solo lane for a little while there. You could see in the top lane, he's just, Sport Billy's doing what he can to clear this. He's not going to have that same clear time, and that's going to cost Team Liquid a lot of experience. There's only 1 kill that Miracle holds, but they do hold that healing pulse plus that, you know, soak advantage right now. It's not the end of the world, and Miracle's not massively ahead by any means, but they have this item control, and that's going to make this fight so much more difficult for Team Liquid.
Something to know is that we have that ignore all distractions coming in from Sniper. This was actually made popular by Rich at the MSB as it was played on this battleground. The idea is you clear out a minion here in the middle, come over to the point, and you have that additional range where you can shell away on Hanzo, who hits like a truck and is able to land those shots.
Yeah, especially on this point right here where the minion wave is right next to you. It's super easy to get that. Okay, Franco gonna go over here, start up the damage, that poke there with his Nova, but now has the ability to follow up with Q damage. And look at Team Liquid, they're just pushed out with a sustainable mage damage here. Franco doing a ton here, gets that teleport back. Eternal on the wrong side of the team fight does not have a bunker here. We're not at 10 yet. And total control now for Miracle. They only just now get control of this cap, but look at what Franco's able to do. Nice prediction there coming out from Arcaner to hit him on his teleport back. But, you know, this poke damage, it's crazy. You talked about how you feel like you're not really sure how much damage Mephisto is doing to you. There's very few mages in Heroes of the Storm that do slow, consistent poke, right? It's usually burst, especially meta ones that we see in pro play, and Mephisto is one of those rare poke mages that sees play today.
I have to actually talk about Sniper in that fight. He just focused on Murden the entire time. Level 1 pickup from Sport Billy has been that third win, so the idea is he wants to come in, take damage, back up, re-heal up quickly, and then come back and fight again. But Sniper just watched him the entire time, and that did not allow for Team Liquid to re-engage. And speaking about a re-engage, Judy says, hey, Sport Billy, come on in, goes for a big sumo toss, tosses him straight into the point, while Miracle continues to build up points and finally control it again.
Yeah, and you know, they traded so well, only Bluebeal tapping here to get mana, and that's all they really need at this stage. This camp pushing the top lane is another issue for Team Liquid, as there's no winning point here for TL right now. The Stormbolt misses. Sport Billy again is the target, the front line. If you can get rid of that, it's so easy to fight with this composition. And look at Sport Belly, yeah, he's getting low here. He's committing heavily in. The healing pulse is used. Damage coming out here. Judy is so low. He lives though with the healing pulse, and now Sport Belly's in trouble, has to jump away.
And the back line is just in trouble for Team Liquid. They have to back out. They have to give away this protector, or they would risk losing too many people on their side and they wouldn't have a defense.
Sniper
losing somebody. Sniper is staying on these front lines, goes in and gets a kill on Blaze.
It's always a Korean mentality in Heroes of the Storm, and it has been since the early days, to when you have poke comps like this where you have consistent damage from Hanzo and then even that mage damage coming out from Mephisto, to focus the tank first, because once the front line is gone, that's when your Diablo doesn't become a peel hero, he becomes an attacking hero. He starts to get those follow-up kills, and they dealt with this so well. I think it's going to become more difficult post-10 with what Team Liquid will get online, but for this early game, well played, Miracle.
Yeah. Team Liquid's waiting for that level 10. They would love to get that avatar for Murden so he can finally just get in the face of whoever he wants to. Hanzo would be a prime target. And in fact, they may have to wait until that level 16 because of the ignore all distractions picked up at level 4. But 10 is definitely the first step for Team Liquid to start winning these team fights. For now, got to focus on defending this protector, and they are in a poor spot. 9 and 3/4 in experience. Miracle is about to hit level 10, even getting some damage on this well down here in the bottom, completely taking it away.
And after the buffs to the Treeglav Protector, after the initial iteration of this map, you do so much damage with that first one. It's so important, it's so impactful. You do so much structural damage that it's tough. You know, you talked about getting to level 16. If this game, if we see 2 Treeglavs, I don't know if we're going to see level 16 locked in ever for TL. I mean, we might see a very fast finish to this second map. So the time for Team Liquid is not now. They have to play passively, but actually in just a moment. Nitrogen has Sundering, so this commitment is actually, I think, fairly useless and absolutely risky.
Risky, but an unattempted, or a thing that you would not normally see. Team Liquid tried to use the element of surprise to get a pick there, and it got them a Sundering cooldown, which is fine. That won't be up for about 50 seconds. So I like the risk there. They had Murden go all the way to the middle, chuck around the bushes, make sure that this play would not get snipped out quickly, and try to get a pick. They get that, they get a couple towers. But all they do is lose a couple cooldowns for a Sundering. I would take that trade.
Yeah, you know, Reset and Sniper, the 2 players in Korea that always bait these engages with the Sundering Thrall to get follow-up kills. Luckily, Team Liquid does get out unscathed. They have 10 now. This could be the fight they're looking for. This is where they want to turn this map around. We do see Lornado coming out here. I don't know if that's the hook they would have wanted here. Sport Billy is going to be able to hold on to this avatar a little bit longer. The scatter arrow misses, but he does commit to that arrow. That's that Dragon's arrow there. And
I was really hoping they could find a kill.
that was, I'd say, a lot of good patience there by Sport Billy, just holding on to that Avatar, knowing there was no way he was really in mortal danger.
Well, Miracle was able to disrupt the jump for Murden, so I could see their thought process, oh, wow, we can actually get this. It was just a little bit too delayed, which is something that we don't normally see from Miracle, but Team Liquid is going to be very happy with that exchange. They're going to have no heroics for about 30 to 40 seconds between Hanzo and Mephisto, which should allow for Team Liquid to go aggressive ganks. And
look at
Nitrogen knows that. He backs up and spray paints.
Spray paints, indeed. You know, in this moment, he was actually in serious danger because Miracle did not know about that rotation, so there was no threat of Team Liquid actually getting caught by a Sundering and then the fight turning there. So I like that rotation a lot more than what we saw previously, but he's just so good. Gets out of there unscathed. Meanwhile, you know, he's just going to try to continue to get soak, try to bait and engage here.
Yeah, he's caught on to the game plan of Team Liquid, especially with Blaze missing. Gonna try and play it safe here. Actually goes for the region
But look, this time Miracle is rotating down, and I don't know about this. Nitrogen could turn this fight in just a second.
With the Sundering, he's waiting.
Yeah, he's waiting for it. He wants to have that hard engage, but he's actually stunned now. Sundering comes out super late,
way.
but the bunker...
He's actually going to be a guy this. He comes around, gets the auto attack. Sport Billy tries to come in and block him, but doesn't get the big Blaze.
Lightning breath value.
Spits out 3 people, and now Frankel wanting to go for the chase. Team Liquid's in trouble.
Oh man, and these conveyor belts are going to at least do them a favor on their way out, helping everyone else retreat. Nitrogen here looking for these roots with the Spirit Wolf. It's only going to be 4, or rather it's only 1 that goes down. The rest of the 4 will get out here for Team Liquid. But this is so textbook Korea Thrall. You always set up these baited engagements. You use the Sundering, you survive with it, and then you have a nice flank. A lot of cooldowns are used to try to kill you, especially if you can dodge some of those skill shots, as Nitrogen did. You use that Sundering to bait a fight, and then you take that fight. You get the first pick. It's been used in Korea in part 2, or rather phase 2, ever since Thrall became meta so much in the off lane.
I'm just impressed with Nitrogen and his faith in his team. He held on that Sundering for about 5 more seconds longer than I would have held onto it, that's for sure. And still gets away, gets to his teammates for the tranquility. To be fair to Team Liquid, that is a hard fight. You're on a conveyor belt, splitting things up. It's difficult to find that angle.
And that's how you know that was the game plan from the beginning. You're not using the Sunder to survive. You're not panic Sundering, because the whole point of you staying in that lane like that and baiting that fight was because you wanted to use it to win the fight, not survive, but in fact just crush it. And Team Liquid played into his hands that time there.
Well, now it's time to work on the control points. Team Liquid has stolen a little bit of a percentage away as they're building towards level 13. With Thrall on the bottom lane, Team Liquid's trying to see if they can maybe get Miracle to move in for a fight. But so far, Miracle has not bitten. In fact, they are looking like they may just want to give this up for a little bit longer here as they have Thrall soaking with Hanzo in the middle.
Yeah, they're actually looking for a pick on the Arcaner potentially here to get the root there, but not going to commit further.
13.
Ooh,
so
Sports
close.
Billy, he's actually a little bit out of his element here. Just wants to keep staggering this up. He's at 60 currently.
He's Murden. He doesn't care. He's going to hold it.
Well, I mean, we saw that last time he thought he was Murden. It didn't go so well.
True.
And I mean, he does, the rest of the team does rotate to help him, so it doesn't actually end up being a bad thing at the end of the day, but a little bit of greed there, getting that extra percentage, which does pay off for Team Liquid. We're on even talent tiers here. He's going to commit to the fight, misses the bolt.
This is the duel, but drops down the hammers. The clap going in there. Big orb coming out from Arcaner, but does not connect at the same time. Sport Billy gets tossed to the
Healing
side.
Pulse, that's going to keep everybody alive. The Sundering does not get massive value here, but with the Avatar already used, Frankel's going in, doing that damage, and Team Liquid cannot recontest here. Looks like Sport Billy's even already used this healing well, so just has to use his trait as a prox here to heal up. And Frankel just has no fear. Eternal comes in for the engage.
Goes in for it, but Judy is able to start kiting backwards. Also a play on the plane, though. Here comes the Lightning Breath. Judy's low on health, backs up to Tranquility while Blaze drops the bunker. Team Liquid continues to advance forward. They want to grab this control point. They need to get it before Miracle finds 16.
Yep, Frankel just committing in there, doing a little bit more poke damage. The scatter arrows come out. They have the Dragon's Arrow. That's the really big heroic that's left on the table here that they could use to get a finishing kill.
Same time, Lornado is available for Deckard Cain. Eternal
Arrow.
retreat. He's low on health. Gets the potion.
How does he live?
Judy is starting to back up. Both the tanks just barely surviving.
That's so massive. Great plays there by Nurok to keep him alive. Judy is caught here. Scatter arrows trying to peel everybody back. He's living for so long. Judy is just unkillable tonight.
And he
that's
gets
gonna
the
be
combo.
Yeah, indeed.
That's going to be 2, but there is a trade on the back line.
Arcaner's got no mana. He's got no mana.
He
and
falls.
He's down. Yeah. You and I are in sync on that one. Well, I mean,
what a long fight, though.
Judy is, he was the face of Miracle's problems for over a year, basically. And it was only in Phase 2, Part 2, where he got the respect of the Korean community. Because if you go back and watch VODs of Miracle throughout 2018, you'll see almost every draft, target bans on Judy. He can only play a few heroes. He's not that great on them. He's the weak link of this team. But when you look in this meta, and as you know, we head into their first match at BlizzCon, his first international tournament, he's actually the strong link. He's the one who's setting up these engages and making the power plays.
I mean, you got a yellow Blue Beetle too. You had the Lightning Breath started up as a way for Team Liquid to fully commit to the fight, and they did. You saw an entire combo from Lamine come out. Blaze dropped the bunker as well, and you saw Lightning Breath canceled, and he ran to the safety of his Malfurion. And Blue Beetle, with wide open arms, says, "Come to me, Judy. I will protect you." Gave him some healing, and Miracle was able to turn that fight around. And now they're making a splash on the map as they push the bottom lane and break open and keep wall. 3-level lead over Team Liquid.
And this is what I was saying, you know, do we see 16 in this game if they get 2 Triglavs? And, you know, we're going to have to wait and find out here, but any kills onto TL might actually cost them this game right now more than just a keep. The keep is almost guaranteed at this point. The Triglav's only got 15 seconds left, but it's healthy enough that they can just keep poking. And when this dies, Judy will pop out. He has the potential to straight engage onto the backline, so Team Liquid is showing some respect here. Miracle, though, shows restraint and will not commit further to this fight. We'll cancel the Triglav outside of the base, and we'll just go for a safe turret camp here on the way out.
So Team Liquid's in a really rough position. Usually to get out of this, there's only one route that you can take. Get to level 16 and try to force a fight before level 20 connects. Get 1 of the 2 picks and take away the control point. That is what Team Liquid is going to do. You never want to get to a spot where your opponent's at level 20 and they have the Protector pushing down the bottom lane. It's much better and easier for you to actually get a win if you go for the fight at level 16. So Team Liquid is going to farm that out, and we should see them get aggressive on the map, which Miracle should prepare for.
And this is a very Tempo Storm-esque style that we're seeing from Miracle now. You get the keep, and you just try to paint the map blue. You get all the camps you can. Healing pulses, fortification camps, the turret setup. You just try to make it a guarantee that you get the next Triglav, and that's your win condition. You know you, in this case, as Miracle, have all 3 forts. So even if you lose a fight, which is unlikely taking these camps, you've got a big set of insurance that Team Liquid's not just going to take a keep and trade it and then suddenly you're on even footing. You know you have such an edge with a double Triglav that you could take these camps and you kind of try to snowball this game into your favor safely. Okay, this is a big commitment here to Sport Billy.
Gets a Shadow Charge there straight up to the wall, but Sport Billy walking away from it. 19.25, Team Liquid trying to force that fight we were talking about. Finds the Stormbolt on Sniper, who was trying to jump over the wall, but can they find the kill? The answer is no.
This looks really bad, though. Judy's coming in, and they do have the Sundering. Does go down here. The bunker set up, but it's not going to last forever. Look at where Miracle is. Team Liquid does not want to get out of that bunker, but they've got no choice. It does go down. Commit here on the Sport Billy. He gets away with low health, but Frankel is going to the backline. He's doing that damage to get the grab here onto Hasu. And Eternal, he may escape here, but the fight is won. That's guaranteed 20, and it could be game if anyone else dies here, Trixler.
Yeah, it certainly could. You're going to see them pushing this bottom lane. Judy once again having that Shadow Charge available. Sport Billy has to hold
the root!
Big whoop connects, so that's going to be a second pick, possibly a third. Nurok trying to retreat away, low on health. He'll be able to get to the safety of his keep, but Miracle, they don't care about that keep. They care about the core.
They want those 3 points here. Their first series at a BlizzCon, and they are going to take it. First game, a little rocky. Nice comeback. Make a statement here in game 2. Absolutely controlling this entire early game, controlling the camps, and showcasing how to play Mephisto, how to poke, and then hard engage.
When asking Miracle what their best attribute is when it comes to this tournament, they smiled at us and said, "We love the team fight." And they put that fully on display here as they get a victory over Team Liquid. 2 major wins, which will award them at 3 points in the group stages. Kudos to them. But Judy, on that Diablo, showing up today.
He has been such a strong point for this team, and this is really reminiscent of, in my opinion, Tempest in 2016, back in Sweden, the Summer Global Championship is this new team, an international stage, breakout performance, great at team fighting, and we'll see, you know, how deep this team can go when they face off against steeper competition in an already very tough group.
All right, well, it's time to go over to Gilly and the rest of the crew as they give us their thoughts on that match.
A maybe disappointing loss for Team Liquid, not being able to take a game off of Miracle, especially when Game 1 was so favored for them in the early game. But nevertheless, Miracle have proven that they are here to play. They're here to prove that they deserve their spot.
Absolutely, and there is such a reason that we've all been talking up the Mephisto so much. That was scary amounts of damage, scary amounts of control. And Dread like was just came by us during the break and was during the game and was like, "This Diablo Mephisto is insane."
Yeah, it's because of the forced positioning, because of the Lightning Nova, and where it's almost like he creates space for Judy, whereas normally that's Judy doing the other way around for Frankel.
Yeah, Judy went in there. That top fight over that top control point was wild. I mean, the fact that Judy walked in, he's like, I got 10% health.
I can't.
Yeah, he had Spell Shield, right? So Li Ming comes with the full combo. I watched it a few times. I'm like, he took almost no damage just popping that Spell Shield, making sure that he lived. And as you said, it's the trade-off of Judy, Frankel, Frankel, Judy. Which one is coming at you and who's creating space for who? Because when Frankel went in there, the game just turned at that point. It was already a lead for Miracle, but that's one of those ones where it's like, this might be irrecoverable. And then Miracle was able to do just that.
Well, what's crazy to me, guys, is that when we were leading up to BlizzCon, you know, that Mephisto pick, Miracle's serious about it. They definitely have specific places, and for the sustained damage that it gives, with the rest of the heroes they had too, is really good for Full Sky Foundry. But are there any other teams that you feel like are maybe going to be bringing this pick in? Is this something that's going to continue to be niche to Miracle?
I think we're definitely going to be seeing it a little bit, especially with this more Q-based build, just due to the amount of wave clear it offers. It's just a question of getting the right draft for it. I'm pretty sure a lot of the teams are going to be comfortable with it, though.
I think since we've seen the nerfs on Raynor, on Phoenix, you start looking at some other options on what can I do damage with, and you look at the mage options. Jaina has fallen off a lot in Phase 2, and Li Ming's always going to be there, but I think with, as Tetcher said, the changes, including that Q build, getting that bonus damage, there is a lot to be said. We saw the full power of that. It's just being able to get the full value. I said it's going to take high execution. The combo of the Hanzo and the Mephisto in that really brought a lot of damage.
Well, before we go to a break, get ready for our next series. Tetcher, you were able to watch a little bit more about how the One was able to take a game off of Tempest.
I had a little bit of a peek, and it turns out draft-wise, it was so quintessential the One from a year ago.
Okay.
Like that kind of the One draft where we had Hugo on his Illidan. They were given Maiev and Arthas, aka He's favorite hero, Arthas. Meng, one of his top heroes, is the Maiev. And they were against a triple melee comp, Thrall, Kerrigan, and Nubarak. And they literally just took really solid fights. They were a little bit down on kills, but they took some really solid 5-man team fights and then just ended with boss through bot lane. There was no cheese, no sneaking. It was just straight up fights.
Yeah, sounds like a good recipe for success for a Chinese team if they get to fight that way. And keep in mind, BTG is going to play Gen G next, so we'll see if Gen G gives the same kind of opportunities to China's best. We'll be back with more of the HGC Finals after this.
Miracle's hitting the well. They're committing to the well, but Arcaner's back now. Nurok's coming through. What a crazy finish here. The taunt is committed. The bunker's up here. Oh, so close. Blue Beetle does get in there. Frankel needs to do the damage, but Arcaner does blink away. Frankel gets the first kill. Is it going to be 2 and 2? And is it get a third reset here on the Smart Billy? The really big heroic that's left on the table here that they could use to get a finishing kill.
Same time, Lornado is available for Deckard Cain. A Thermal
Arrow
retreat. He's low on health. Gets the potion.
How does he live?
Judy is starting to back up. Both the tanks just barely surviving.
That's so massive. Great plays there by Nurok to keep him alive. Judy is caught here. Scatter Arrow's trying to peel everybody back. He's living for so long. Judy is just unkillable tonight.
And
that's
gets
gonna
the
be
combo.
Yeah, indeed.
That's going to be 2, but there is a trade on the back line.
Arcaner's got no mana. He's got no mana.
He
and
falls.
He's down. Yeah. And it could be game if anyone else dies here, Trixler.
Yeah, it certainly could. You're going to see them pushing this bottom lane. Judy once again having that shadow charge available. Sportbilly has to hold
the root.
Big whoop connects, so that's going to be a second pick, possibly a third. Nurok trying to retreat away, low on health. He'll be able to get to the safety of his keep, but Miracle, they don't care about that keep. They care about the core.
They want those 3 points here. Their first series at a BlizzCon, and they are going to take it. First game, a little rocky.